Hi, TOT Carlson here, and by this point on my channel, if you know me, you know that I love the Sailor Moon anime and manga series. If I ever see a release of Sailor Moon, old or new, I generally will pick it up just to add it to the collection. And I found something the other day that was no exception to that rule. That is this DVD of the old DiC dub of the show, a DVD that's called Fight to the Finish. I'm going to do an unboxing of this disc. I'll talk a little bit about the contents, and I'll let you know if I think this is worth adding to your Sailor Moon collection if you are a fan of the older DiC dub. So first of all, here's our cover art. I gotta say, whoever did this cover art probably needs to be fired. I don't think I've ever seen Queen Beryl looking happy before. She's a beautiful villain, don't get me wrong, but she's supposed to have an evil glare to her face, and this person just drew her so she looked happy. So yeah, no thanks on that one. There's a close-up of the title of the disc. Here's the spine. This was put out by ADV. That's the same company that released those uncut box sets of the first two seasons that were sub-only. Here's our back cover. Inside the case, we have our disc and our insert, both of which have the same art, of course, with Queen Beryl looking happy, which I'll probably be reiterating many times in this review. On the back of the insert, we have a list of the episodes that are included in this release. We have 6 episodes, which in the old DiC dub, these are the final 4 episodes of Season 1 and the first 2 of Season 2. Kind of an odd breaking point. I'm guessing they were putting out like sequential DVDs of the old dub and it just happened to break there. But the episodes that are in here are Tuxedo Unmasked, Fractious Friends, The Past Returns, Day of Destiny, The Return of Sailor Moon, and So You Want to Be in Pictures. Yeah, Trials and Troubles is the caption they use there. And for the featured previews they have on the disc, which are just like trailers for other properties, they have Princess 9, Queen Emeraldus, Sakura Wars 2, Metabots, All-Purpose Cultural Catgirl Nuku Nuku, and Dai-Guard. I've heard of maybe half of those, but never actually watched them. As you know, long before Viz got their hands on Sailor Moon and started doing proper uncut releases, we pretty much had to settle for the old DiC dub, which I will give credit to because it introduced a lot of people to the show in the first place, myself included. They actually had a pretty solid dub cast. Unfortunately, the episodes were edited for content, and there were a lot of changes to cultural elements, and a lot of the violence and more sensual elements were toned down. Some characters even had their genders changed. So yeah, that was certainly an interesting experience, and although a bit turbulent, again, I do give credit to DiC for introducing people to Sailor Moon through this dub. Initially, Sailor Moon in America was going to be an entirely new show based on the original concept that had both live action and animated portions that were newly filmed, but that, of course, was aborted because they found that it would be cheaper just to dub the anime. If you look around online, you can actually find that Toon Maker's Sailor Moon, like one of the music videos and like a rough preview. Do a search for that after you watch this video, and I think you'll be pretty floored with what you see. Whether that's a good or a bad thing is certainly debatable. I have to say, this is a decent-looking DVD. It obviously hasn't been restored or anything, but it does give us 6 episodes of the old DiC dub, so those people that are loyalists that want to have this dub in some shape or form, if you can find this one for a bargain, you might as well pick it up. The title of the disc is Fight to the Finish, which is a little weird because that's actually the title of an episode of the show that came much earlier. That was actually the title of the episode in which Jadeite loses his last battle with the Sailor Guardians and is sentenced to eternal sleep by Queen Beryl. I'll also read the caption on the back of the case. I don't think I did that earlier. You think you have problems? Things are bad enough for Sailor Moon when the evil Queen Beryl tries to recapture the rainbow crystals, but the forces of the Negaverse finally managed to break into our universe. Now the Sailor Scouts have to face off against Beryl and her Doom and Gloom girls. And if that's not bad enough, there are newer and even tougher villains just waiting to take over from Beryl. It's trouble with a capital T in the 7th amazing collection of Sailor Moon on DVD. So like I said, I believe ADV did several sequential volumes of this. And this is interesting because this is actually after we started getting the 3rd and 4th season in uncut DVDs. So at the time, this was the only version that was officially available on home video of those earlier Season 1 episodes, and in this case, the first few Season 2 episodes. I don't know how many volumes there were before this or how many volumes there were after, but it is an interesting thing I am kind of glad I picked up. Of course, we do have a few mistakes in this caption. It mentions Queen Beryl tries to recapture the rainbow crystals. Completely false. She tries to recapture the people that once held the rainbow crystals. The rainbow crystals formed what became the silver crystal that Sailor Moon has in her possession. They mention that the villains take over from Beryl, even though they're actually unrelated villains from a completely different place and background. Although the English dub does try to kind of make it sound like they're from the same place. That's a dubbing mistake, of course. I mean, I could ramble on and rant on about the Viz dub of the show, but I mainly just wanted to show off this disc because it's a new acquisition. And I mean, if you can find this for cheap, you might as well add it to your collection because it's a nice piece of Sailor Moon history. I mean, obviously it doesn't top the newer releases that Viz is putting out, which are uncut and have a new, more accurate dub, but I won't lie, I do have a soft spot for the older dubs, so I'm glad that I picked this up. Are you a fan of Sailor Moon, and what do you think of the old DiC dub of the show? Have you added any of these DVDs to your collection? What's the most obscure Sailor Moon item you have in your collection? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos, and make sure you like this one if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. See you next time.